Hello everyone, this is Grace of gbmaltese, and I am doing a little whip and chat while I work on my brother's custom diamond painting. This was made for me by Rachel of Treasure Studios Art, and it is beautiful, as you can see. I have done all of this part. I have a few to put in right here I'll do in just a moment. I've done some more up here. Remember how kind of faded out the canvas looked? And I told you, wait till you see when you put the drills on there. Oh, look at that. Look at the richness of this color. I have not started on the face yet. That may be the last thing I do. I think that might be the most emotional part for me. I'm not sure as yet. But I thought I want to do a little bit more with you guys. So you can see what I've been doing on this. It is just, it's coming out so pretty. And my brother, he would be, I think, thrilled to see this. I really do, because it's just beautiful. Let me go ahead and pick out the color I need. Okay, I'm going to start with this one first, number 16. These little diamonds. I've been working straight from the bags. What I do is I put the number that's on the canvas that goes with it, and I draw the little symbol. It just makes it easy for me. Because when I'm looking, I'm like, what was that symbol again? And there it is. Or I can look at the number, either one. I just like drawing the little symbol. You can do it however you want. There is no right or wrong way to do these things. So, I hope all of you are doing well. That you're doing finer than frog's hair, as we say in the South. I learned that one from my husband. That was a new one to me. But I've heard other people say it since then, so I'm like, wow. Where have I been? That means I hope you're doing extremely well while you're where some people are headed back to work. How many of you are having to get back to work now? How many of you are still kind of sheltering in place? I am really not getting out much since I don't need to. I don't need to make any more traffic out there than is absolutely necessary for those people who are working. I'm going to turn my light pad on. There we go. Now we have it. So I can see this little area a little better. Maybe down so you can see that too. I'm going to leave it higher so maybe you can see the whole picture and see how it is coming together. Let's see how these colors are going to look. Oh, look at that. It's just beautiful. I'll pick that too, so get off of there. Pick that two at a time on that one. Just put them on down there. This is so pretty. I just am really enjoying working on this. I really am. I've got my canvas turned sideways so that I can work on it. Yes, I turn my canvases sideways, right side up, upside down, whatever way I need to get to my symbols the easiest. You don't have to work in one direction. There is no law that says you have to. You do it the way you like. Now, some people like to roll theirs up. If it's something really big, I can understand that, but this is a 45 by 60, and it fits just fine on my table. And I also work on this in another room, and I have a card table that I use, that I put it on, and it fits perfectly there. And I just turn it around so that I can get to it. So look, it's just beautiful. Well, have any of you done anything so crazy today? Yeah, I did. I went to pick up my brother's picture to bring it in this room so I could record. And what I did is I picked up the picture, and I had a different color in my tray, and I picked it up and I turned it straight up like this as I was carrying the picture. And yeah, gravity was at work. So I crawled around on the floor picking up my little drills. It's on ceramic floor, and my dog, my Bogey, he was sniffing around. I'm like, Bogey, no, you don't. Plastic is not going to interest you. I promise you. He left it alone. He just wondered what Mama was doing, crawling around on the floor, picking up little bitty plastic things. So I got him, most of them picked up. The wonderful thing about Rachel, even if it's not her fault that you run out of drills because you do something stupid like that, she gives you a lot, like 30% more than what you need. But if something crazy happens, she is awesome in replacing them for no charge. So there's no hassle. Look at that! Okay, that part's done. So let's move up here. We've got some more little diamonds there. Everything looks washed out at this area. And look how deep and rich the colors are here. So it's fun seeing this one come alive. It really is. Now I must tell you, I have had a few moments. I've had good thoughts and bad thoughts, memories, I guess you could say, while working on this. I've shed a few tears, shed a few laughs while working on this, because I'll be thinking of Daryl, of course, and not just of Daryl, but other members of the family, his kids, and all of that. So, all of you that have lost someone you know what the grieving process is like. It just takes some time. But this has been just a delight to work on. It really has. And it's so beautiful that I know he would love this. He would be thrilled with the way this is coming out. He liked beautiful things. So, I know he would like this. I talked to you a little bit about my brother the last time, and I'll talk a little bit about it, and just whatever comes to my mind. You never know. When I start talking, I don't even know what may come out of my mouth, truthfully. It just happens. It's just the way I am. Something else will pop in my mind, and it's like, oh, I need to talk about that too. But I am truly enjoying this. Let me tell you, it has been so hot the last couple of days here in Texas that I actually finally turned the central air on. I don't have it turned real low. I keep it on about 80, and let me tell you, it's coming on. Even when I have this set at 80 degrees, and then I have my ceiling fans on, and I have other fans if I need them, but right now I'm comfortable. I actually set it to 79. Yeah, will be while I'm doing this so I don't get too warm in this room, and I'm comfortable. I am just right. So I just looked and my microphone's turned a little bit. I hope that all that came out. Hope I'm talking where you can hear me. Anyway, it has been hot. I cannot believe that this weekend is Memorial Day weekend. And this is the time we remember the ones who were lost fighting for our country. And my dad was a Marine. He fought in World War II. He told us some stories. Daryl, that was one of the reasons Daryl became a Marine, was my dad was actually his stepdad. I told that in the last time that his father passed away of a heart attack when Daryl was only, I don't know, 16 months old. I'm really not sure how old he was. He may not have been that old. So he never really knew him. And he wanted my dad to be proud of him. My dad was a hard man to show any feelings. He had a hard time showing them. And that had a lot to do with how he was raised also. And sometimes we have to just get past that and change the cycle. Because there's a lot of us that have had childhoods where maybe that were not the most pleasant. But we need to try to break that cycle and do things different. If you have kids, you know the things you liked and the things that you didn't. I mean, and I'm not talking about getting in trouble because, you know, you threw mud all over the floor or something. Yeah, that might get you in a little trouble. But sometimes you might have been, or the punishment might have been a little more severe than probably was called for. And sometimes that can be hard to do, to control it. But especially if you were raised in an environment that was that way, it is hard. And you just have to really stop and count. Sometimes I'd have to just have to tell my daughter, go to your room before I do something that, you know, we both regret or whatever. You've been, I'm sure, have been in those moments, especially as they get into those preteens and teen years. There are times you're like, I need you to just, you know, go in your room or somewhere. We need to both think this back through again. So don't feel lonely. And I don't know, there may be people out there that never lose their cool. My mom was pretty good about that. She was our good influence. Tell you what, my mom to me was a saint, and I mentioned that before. I don't remember her ever getting mad at anyone. I don't remember her ever raising her voice. That just wasn't her. But it would be so funny because her sisters, and I've told this before, my mom was Greek and she spoke Greek. She didn't know English when she went to school. So when they got together, they were speaking in Greek. And I tell you what, two of my aunts, they would get kind of loud. Yeah, speaking a language I didn't know. So that was kind of funny sometimes. My mom didn't teach us very many words in Greek. Not enough that I would be able to tell you much of anything. I remember when my mom used to tell me, you have mixa on your nose. And I knew what that meant. And I thought everybody in the world knew what that meant. Well, they didn't. Because mixa is the word for snot or boogers or whatever in Greek. So that's what she always said. You've got mixa on your nose. I didn't know any different. And kukla, you call your kukla, is a doll. But there were very, very, very few things that I learned. And she said since our dad didn't know Greek, it wasn't fair to him. He probably told her not to. I don't know. You know, but she said it wasn't fair for him to not know what we were saying. Well, there were times I wished he hadn't known what I might have been saying. You ever have those moments? Yeah. So my mom was the gentle soul, and we all got some of that too. I mean, you get all different parts of your... I never knew my brother's dad, and they never knew him. Greg, my mom was pregnant with my brother Greg. That's my second oldest brother. Daryl was the oldest. I don't know what their dad was like, and they never really knew him. So Daryl was just a really funny guy. Greg, he's funny, but he can be really funny in a very mean way. I do mean mean. And I've had one or two of you mention about your brothers, and it just made me laugh that some of you had one of those too. Yeah, the ones who come up with those things that are really not funny. They think it's funny, but it's not. When it's happening to you, it's not funny. When you go swimming and someone dunks you under the water and lets your head up and says, you better take another breath, you're going down again. And yep, there you go again. You're just hoping you don't die out there in the pool. I learned to become a very good swimmer. So did my sister. I can swim very well. I guess I have Greg to thank for that. Daryl was much more calm. He never did things like that. Oh, there was something he did one time that I didn't know about. Oh, did I mention it? I may have mentioned this in my last video. I don't remember. Gosh. Anyway, Daryl was always pretty calm. And I think I may have told this in my last one. When I went outside to call the boys in for supper and pop, right in the stomach, I got a really sharp pain. And yeah, I'd been shot in the stomach with a BB gun. And my brothers told my dad it was some kid down the street, and they went looking for him. I didn't find out until I was an adult. That was actually Daryl. And he kept telling me, because I took care of Daryl different times when he had been ill, because Daryl had had septic shock in 2006. He had lymphoma in 2010, and then the last, in probably 2016, I'm guessing, he had skin cancers that he had to remove. Then it went into his head and on his face, and they removed those and also did radiation. And then last was the skin cancer went into his lungs. So he always told me I comforted him. So he would come and stay with me a lot of those times. And I think I was just born with, because when I was a kid, I either wanted to be a nurse or a teacher. Well, I became a teacher. I think the main thing that kept me from being a nurse is I was terrified to think about giving someone a shot. I didn't know if I could do it. So I became a teacher. But I ended up basically being a nurse for several people in my family. And Daryl's one of them. And I just felt like that's just me. I'm just one of those people who like to care for somebody. So we would sit, and this last bout of illness that with his lung cancer that he lost his battle to, we would talk about things in the past, and he would sit and he said, he said, I really wish I hadn't done the things that I had done to y'all when we were kids. He said, I really am sorry that I shot you with that BB gun. He said, I don't even know what made me do it. I said, that's done and over with. That's, nothing to that. But we'd sit and we'd talk about different things like that. But he said that he wished there were things that he wished he hadn't done. And I said, hey, you weren't like Greg. And we'd laugh about some of those things. We had some good laughs about some things. Some things, I don't know whether I should mention or not. But this story is really not mine to tell. But Darlissa, if you're watching this, I hope you don't mind I'm telling this story. I don't think you will. Darlissa is Daryl's oldest daughter. She's also working on this same diamond painting. And I have another one of these to do for Daryl's other daughter. This one right here is for his widow and youngest son to hang in their home. Anyway, Darlissa's husband, Wes. Hey Wes, if you even bother to look. Wes, you remember you told me we were going to do a video together someday? Maybe when all this crazy stuff in the world is over. Okay, Wes is one really funny guy. Okay, he was also a Marine. So he and Daryl, they got along well. But I gotta tell this story because it made Daryl laugh so hard, and it made me laugh. And at that, point in time, we needed a really good laugh. And I'm going to clean up the language from what my dear nephew-in-law used so that I can tell this and not get in trouble for it from YouTube. Anyway, Wes was telling us that his dad, I think the whole thing that got on the subject was when you're taking a lot of pain medication, it can constipate you. Well, Wes's dad had been taking medication for some surgery he had. Well, of course, when you get constipated, after it builds up after a while, you will do anything to get rid of that. Well, his wife was out of town at the time, so he calls up Wes. Wes is their only child. So he tells Wes, I'm really, really constipated. I need some help. I'm miserable. And he said, I need to have an enema. Kind of think. I'm not sure if he was hinting for Wes to do it, and Wes is like, no way. There is no way I'm sticking anything up your behind. You can put in any words you want to for the ones I'm using. Anyway, he said, no. So Wes's dad goes out, gets one of those enemas that that you can do on yourself. And you know how it tells you to lay on the bed sideways? Well, if you're doing it by yourself, you really can't do that. I'm not sure what brand he got or what kind he got, but he got one. And okay, it tells you different ways you can do it. And one of the ways was sitting on the commode. All right. So his dad does that, and he puts one end in the rectal area where it needs to go, and he starts squeezing on the bottle because you need the liquid to go up there. Well, the liquid will not go in. Okay, he is really struggling, and he's like, what am I going to do? So he ends up putting that bottle on the floor. Let's say this is the bottle. Okay, here's the bottle sitting here. He takes his foot and with his foot hits it really hard. Okay. Well, yeah, that let the fluid loose, but the problem was he had forgotten to take the cap off. So, guess what got lodged up into the rectal area? Yeah, the lid. So, here he is calling Wes again, wanting Wes take him to the emergency room to get it out, or Wes to come get it out. And Wes is in his very kind way say, there is no way that I'm taking anything out of you. So we got to laughing so hard because I could just picture this happening. And I really don't know what Wes's dad ended up doing. Wes, I don't know if he ever asked him or not. He may not have wanted to know. I don't know if he just ended up getting it out himself, or I don't know, you know, how difficult it was to get out, or if he ended up somehow sitting in a car and driving himself to the emergency room. Oh, and you know how they are in the emergency room, and make you just sit and sit and sit. I bet he may have dug around in there and got that out himself. But anyway, it made Daryl laugh so hard, and he hadn't laughed, and he couldn't laugh well because he was on so much oxygen and he was so weak. But he was just laughing. He was laughing pretty hard. It was hilarious. It was so good to see him laugh, and I have to thank Wes for giving Daryl that great laugh, because I'm trying to talk Wes into having a YouTube channel. He is hilarious. I need to find out if he'll let me upload a video that he did, or I'm going to try to talk him into doing his own channel. It is hilarious what he did. I'm not going to sell it just in case he wants to upload it, but I had the best laugh watching it. So let me tell you, he and Daryl, there's no telling what all they got into when they would hang out together. Can you imagine? 2 ex-Marines. Yeah. They're a breed of their own, I suppose. I guess anyone in the military. So that was, I still laugh, and I think, but to hear Wes tell it is so funny. But I would be picturing that. I just had the biggest laugh. But to see Daryl laugh made me so happy. He really needed a good laugh, and he every time we kind of mention it, he'd just laugh again and shake his head. It really was. It was a funny story, and the way Wes can tell it, wow. Of course, I have to be careful how I say things on here. I don't want to, you know, be rude and crude with you guys, but it was funny. It was funny. And just, guys have a way of telling these stories. So that was a good one. And Darlissa, I hope, she had said she wanted me to do some of these whip and chats while working on her dad's picture, and I hope she's doing well. She and her husband both are having to get out and work, and they have a 3-year-old who is the cutest thing. Daryl adored his grandbaby. Oh my gosh. And of course, he didn't get to see her much when he got so sick, because any little cold or anything she might have had, it would have passed on to Daryl. So that was really hard for him. So he'd watch everything that was posted on Facebook. And yeah, he just was crazy about his little grandbaby, and she is the cutest. But I remember Darlissa when she was little. Oh my goodness. I think I told you guys about Daryl. For about 9 months, he was very colicky and didn't sleep much. Well, Darlissa, she didn't sleep much either. I'll never forget. I went and stayed with Daryl and Melissa to help them with the baby. I hadn't had a child yet, so any one of my family members who had a new baby, I would go stay for a few days and try to help out around the house, or let the mom sleep and I'd take care of the baby, whatever I could do. And I'll never forget the first time I went over to their house. Darlissa was supposed to be laying down taking a nap. We walk into that room, and her lying in her crib, and we walk around quietly to the side. Her big brown eyes were wide open. Yeah, looking right at us. That girl didn't sleep much. And I remember staying up at night with her and holding her on my stomach kind of trying to rock her so she wouldn't cry, and to try to get her to sleep. Not much sleeping went on and around there, so my biggest thing was to let Melissa get some sleep. I'd sing to her, and I'll never forget all the way home. As I've told y'all before, it's about an hour drive from my house. I was slapping myself in the face to stay awake as I was driving home, because I hadn't had much sleep in the days that I stayed there. Melissa, if you're watching that, you remember that? I know you do. Oh, for Pete's sakes. And Daryl had what was called white coat syndrome. He was scared of doctors. His blood pressure, I guess, would drop. He would sometimes pass out. When, I think I may have told y'all the last time, like I said, I can't remember sometimes what I've said and haven't, but that just always stands out in my memory, is when his wife is giving birth and Daryl passes out on the floor, and they have to turn their attention on to Daryl instead of the one who's giving birth to their child. So, poor Daryl, and then he ended up sick so much that he was at the doctor all the time. So that was not easy. He was so upset with doctors, hospitals, whatever. He didn't like to even go visit people who might be sick in the hospital because it would make him feel like passing out. So you can imagine how that had to affect him when he was not able to, be able to stay home. He had to go to the doctor for doctor's appointments when he was ill. So you just never know what's going to happen in life, but he was tough, let me tell you. He didn't complain, he just did it. And he could talk about things and just laugh. Just loved him about that. And I have to mention another very strong, brave man, and that was my sister's first husband, Rance. He was 45 when he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. He lived 10.5 months, and he went through so many different types of things as he went through that. But let me tell you, he never complained. So those were two amazing men that I can't not mention him. That was my sister's first husband, and at the time when Rance got sick, her kids were 13 and 14. When he passed, they were 14 and 15. So that was tough. So we've had some tough times, and yes, I was there to help out when I could. I took a leave from school for a while and stayed for several weeks to help my sister try to find a place to get help. Basically, they said there was nothing they could do for him at the hospital because they did a surgery, opened him up, said it's gone everywhere, closed him up, and go find somebody. So he underwent some experimental drugs, and Daryl was kind of going through experimental things too, because Daryl's cancer was very rare. So both of them were very strong throughout this. But I'll never forget about this TV show Rance and I were watching. It was a documentary. And I, to this day, still have to laugh because it was so weird. We were watching this documentary, and it was about this chicken. And this chicken had no head, but it was alive. What had happened was this farmer had gone out to butcher a chicken to eat. This was way back. I don't remember if it was like in the 40s or it might have been the 30s when this happened. And the chicken did not die. They said that it did not cut the spinal cord or whatever. It did not. So what he did, this chicken had no head. But Rance and I are just laughing about the whole thing. He fed the chicken with an eyedropper through its neck. Okay, he had this eyedropper and he fed it through its neck. Now, back in those days, of course, they didn't have film footage of all that stuff, but there were pictures. And this guy traveled around with a freak show to show this chicken. And that chicken lived, I don't know if he lived a year. He lived a long time. And this guy traveled around showing his chicken with no head. But Rance and I would bring that up every so often and talk about it and just laugh. But Rance always had a sense of humor too, so he was another funny guy. So Daryl and Rance, I'm sure y'all have a lot to talk about right now. But yeah, May 24th. That's coming up. Today's May 21st of 2020. It will be 5 months since losing you, big bro. And yeah, still miss you. Still miss you. And still want to pick up that phone and call you, and I really want to go to your house and sit with you and just talk about just anything. And several of you have commented on losing your sisters, your brothers, your husbands, moms, dads. I've lost both my mom and my dad, and it is hard. And there are times you just feel like picking up the phone and telling them something. There will be times I will see something, I'm like, oh my gosh, Mom would love that for Christmas. And then you remember, well, she's not here. So they're always going to be with you in your heart. And I will be reunited with them one day. That is a surety. But we are here to carry on, and I love calling and talking to Darlissa. Darlissa, girl, me and you, girl, we're going to do a video together with what, and Wes is going to be in here too. Wes has all these cool costumes, and there's no telling what he could get him to dress like. He has pirate costumes. He dressed up at Halloween as Dorothy, and their little girl was dressed as the lion. That was really cute. I saw the picture. We don't live close, so I saw the picture. It was adorable. I know that there's got to be a lot of laughing going on in that house, and a lot of eye rolling from Darlissa. Oh, and then there's Chelsea. Chelsea is Daryl's youngest daughter, and she's a teacher and coach. Yay! Because her mom is a teacher, and Melissa was she was over me when I did my student teaching, and we are still the best of friends. But that Chelsea, she's got a sense of humor that just won't quit. I don't get to see her very often. When you're teaching and coaching, your life is not your own. And she's always traveling and going places. Girl, you need to slow down and come see your Aunt Grace. I miss you. And I can just imagine those kids having a really good time with Chelsea and her sense of humor. I have a sense of humor too. I don't know. Most of us do, and I love joking with my kids, and I'll have to tell you some of the things that I can remember. You know, things kind of get muddled up over time, and I'll remember them clear as day one moment. But then when it comes time for me to sit down here and talk to you, it's like, oh, what was I going to say? And usually there's not pen and paper close at hand, and even if there was, I'm real bad about doing stuff like that. Jotting it down, I really am. I need to do that. But it's fun. I enjoyed my teaching. I did. Love my teaching. Do not miss some of the paperwork and that kind of stuff. But those of you who are teachers at this time right now, I know it's tough. Let me tell you, I know you're missing your kids. I know, and we all know, that the kids can just really give you a hard time. Something's going to happen every single day, but it's never boring. But it's also one of the funnest jobs. Oh, not every day, okay? I had fun with the kids. It was a rewarding job. Was it easy? Oh, no. It was not an easy job. And those of you who may be at home with your kids, haven't tried to homeschool them, you can see a little bit of the pressure the teachers have in trying to teach them for so many hours during the day, keeping their attention. So yeah, sometimes you have to do a little entertaining. There were times I'd sing, dance, whatever. But if you didn't laugh at some things, you might just well cry. So I feel for you teachers and you parents during this time of the homeschooling, during this pandemic that's going on, and just praying that this is all over with soon. I have to say, I'm glad you didn't have to see this, Daryl, because all you would be doing right now is worrying about your family. You are in perfect health right now, and I have to keep reminding myself that. But I love you. Love you so much. You are a good big brother. Even though you did shoot me with a BB gun. Yeah, I forgive you for that. I told him, I said, hey, that water under the bridge. Hey, you know, I had a little bit of a gut. What else? You know, what else? I might as well draw a target on myself. Sometimes I feel like I'm a target for some people for sometimes being treated in not the kindest way. And there are other people out there that feel the same way. But you guys, I'm going to tell you something. I feel like I'm a target of kindness that you show me. Oh my gosh, I love you guys. You have no idea. I sure wish I could have gotten Daryl in on a YouTube video. He wouldn't have done it. I don't know, he might have. He was funny. But tomorrow is May 22nd, and Isaac, my grandson, those of you who've been with me know that he's my kind of like my adopted grandson. He is graduating as a Marine tomorrow. I will be watching him. I think it's going to be at 10 o'clock Pacific time. So for me, that'll be noon Central time. And I'm going to be on the Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego. I believe they're going to show it on there. I've also ordered a DVD of the graduation just in case. I can't find it. I don't have any idea what it's like. I do not know. I just know I am proud of him, and I am so proud of his sister. She is still in high school, and she is doing so good. She is making such good grades right now. All this pandemic is going on, and I'm proud of her. She is my granddaughter. I like my adopted granddaughter. So my nieto and mi nieta. I love both of you. And And I love you guys that are watching me, and some of you have been with me for a long time. Thank you so much. And those of you who are just joining me, thank you. And if you would like to subscribe, I would be thrilled to pieces. And if you like the video, if you like my whipping chats, give me a like. You know, some people don't like whipping chats, but I have a lot of people that tell me I love the whipping chats because I can sit down and just listen while I'm working on my diamond painting. Some of you are crocheting or knitting. I've even had some of you tell me you're cleaning house. So if I can keep you company, then I appreciate you listening. My sister tells me she listens, and she's probably cleaning house or doing something. She stays busy. And I love you, my sister. And I love all of my people out there. I feel like all of you are like family to me. And I cannot say that enough. I know some people think, oh, she's just saying that. Well, I'm really not, or I wouldn't get on here and even do this. I'm not on here trying to, you know, be the next star or anything. I just like meeting new people, showing you some new things. It's fun. I enjoy it. I still got that teacher in me, okay? That isn't gonna go away. And I've still got that loving, caring instinct of being a caregiver. So you guys, you take care. I hope you're having a blessed day. God bless all of you. Love you so much. And I will see you again before too long. Bye. I love you guys.